Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel again. And I want to start by asking you a question. Now, if I said to you that my son had great potential as a soccer player because he had great ball skills, he was very fast in running, he was very agile, and things like that, I'd have a good reason to say that he had a lot of potential. Well, he doesn't, unfortunately, but I do have something else that I can tell you has got a lot of potential. And I'm going to give you some reasons for it today. So stay with me and I'll talk to you about all the reasons why trading Forex, trading gold, trading Bitcoin, and a few other things has got such great potential. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to explain to you the kind of money that's involved in the Forex market as different entities move money around the world. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. Second thing I'm going to do is show you the kind of options one has from different brokers, the kind of things that you can trade, which increase the potential for making money. And the next thing I'm going to talk to you about is the fact that you can actually start with very little money and you can build up gradually because of the way that brokers have organized it all. And then I'm going to show you the number of opportunities that are available with the different brokers, most of them anyway, every day. The kind of hundreds of opportunities that you've got to look for a good trade every day. So we'll start off with the first one then. Okay, so there are various different entities, financial entities and organizational entities in the world today that have to make use of the Forex market. For instance, a big company like maybe Toyota, buying and selling parts, they need to import parts, they need to export parts internationally, moving money around to the different factories around the world. And every time they do that, they use the foreign exchange market. Money is being moved from here to there. And then you've got private banks or commercial banks that have to move money for people like you and me. We want to move money from another country to where we're living, or we want to take money from where we're living and send it to somebody overseas. We have to use their services. And so that's the Forex market again. And then, of course, you've got private banks that are involved in trading Forex to make a good return. And so they are constantly taking money from cash, which is the Forex market, to stocks, and then from stocks to maybe gold and Bitcoin, and then back to cash again, depending on the interest rates of that home market of the currency itself, maybe Australia, maybe America, maybe the UK, places like that. And then you've got central banks who need to buy and sell currencies in order to stabilize their own currency. And you can imagine there's billions and billions of dollars being exchanged because of that as well. So it's a massive market. It's a market that's on the go day and night without stopping, and with over $7 trillion of trading every day. So it's a huge market, and it's never going to stop. It's never going to sleep, never going to end, because if it ever comes to an end, believe me, this planet won't exist anymore. It's absolutely essential to the everyday running of everyone's economy. Okay, so let me just demonstrate that for you with a little pie chart, which will make it a little bit easier for you to visualize. So let me get my pie chart out. Okay, I think you can see it now. Let me get my pen out and I can highlight a few things. Okay, so let's talk about the everyday commercial banks. They represent about 30% of the market. And if you look at investment banks, private banks, they represent about 25% of that market. And then you've got central banks, about 20% of the market. And then you've got retail traders, which are people like yourself and myself who do it to profit off the rise and fall of a particular currency. And then you've got other, I'm not sure what other are, 5% of the market. But you can see that these organizations, they're not going anywhere soon. They're always going to be here. So you never have to worry about the fact that maybe this thing is going to end, because it's going to be here pretty much forever. Okay, so let me stop sharing that. Okay, so now let me show you a chart of the Euro USD, which is, of course, the most famous of all the currency pairs. And I'm going to show you a chart of the daily movements going back to the end of last year up to August of this year. So let me share that one with you, and you'll see the incredible movement that exists on these charts. Right, I think you can see that one. Okay, so basically, you get my pen out again. You can see starting down here, December last year, going all the way up to around about August of this year. You can see the kind of movement that exists on this chart, and each candle here, each of these green or red marks is what we call a candle, and it represents the movement over a 24-hour period. So there you've got a very nice strong uptrend, meaning that the US dollar was getting weaker compared to the euro. Okay, let's try and share another one with you. I think this time I'm going to use a 30-minute chart where each of the candles represents a 30-minute time frame. And let me see what I've got. Okay, let's have a look at the pound yen on a 30-minute chart. We can see the kind of movement that exists on a chart like that. So let me bring that one up for you. Okay, so here we've got a 30-minute pound yen, Japanese yen chart, going back to roughly July this year to August. Not a very long time, but you can see that tremendous movement up and down. Huge amounts of movement, and the more movement you've got, the more opportunities you have for making money. And the gray parts over here are places that I have identified as entry points for a trade. So this one here would be a sell trade, sell trade, sell trade, and this would be a buy trade, and that would be a sell trade. Now, there's a lot of others as well, but I thought I'd just highlight those for you to see how many opportunities there are on these charts. And I mean, this is one of 30 charts that I have available on my platform. Okay, so let's have a look at one more. Okay, let's have a look at the UK 100 chart. And we'll look at this one on an hourly candle basis. And the UK 100 is a chart of the FTSE 100 group of companies. And that's quite fun to trade, and you get a lot of movement on that one as well. So let me show you that one. Give me a moment. Okay, I think you can see this one now. Going back to August this year, and okay, I haven't got a record of where this is here, but this is an hourly chart. So each of these red and green things represents 1 hour of movement. And once again, you can see tremendous movement, sometimes up, a little bit down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And all those movements represent opportunities to make money. So there's tremendous movement in the markets because of all the international trade that goes on. And also there's a lot of different charts that you can use to look at. Okay, so what's next? Okay, now it used to be that if you wanted to get involved in Forex trading, you had to be with one of the banks that have their own trading floor, or you had to do it yourself and have a huge amount of money. But since they've opened it up to people like you and me, they've made it possible to trade very small amounts. So if you don't have a lot of money, you can actually start off trading very little amount of money, and you even have to invest maybe $100. I think some of the brokerages are enabling people to start with as little as $100. So it makes it possible to get into this market with very little money. Now, if you get into this market with very little skill and training, you're going to lose that money. Now, obviously, you have to have skills developed to make the most of it. But even that, one can learn the skills, because what they also offer you is they offer you a demo platform. In other words, that platform actually represents the real movement, but without actually putting any real money in it. You can do it with, well, like monopoly money, really. And that makes it possible for people to get involved without having a huge amount of money behind them. Now, the last thing I wanted to mention was the fact that most of the brokerages that offer you this possibility and this opportunity, they offer you a free platform in order to, like I showed you just previously, the charts, they offer you those charts for free. And I've currently got about 30 charts that I look at. I obviously don't trade all 30 at the same time, but each of those charts has got things like a 30-minute chart, a 1-hour chart, 2-hour chart, a 4-hour chart, an 8-hour chart. Now, if you just look at the 30-minute charts, and you've got 30 of them, and you've got, let's say, 8 a day, that represents 4 hours of time. So you've got 8 times 30. Well, what's 8 times 30? It's like 240 opportunities. So you've basically got about 240 opportunities every day to look for places where you could put in a buy or sell signal. Now, that's a lot of opportunities. And even though a lot of the currency pairs don't do much, in other words, there's not a lot of movement on them, you're always going to find 1 or 2 which are moving nicely and offer you a possibility of finding a good place to trade. So there you have it. You have tremendous opportunity available to you. However, of course, it's like all opportunities, you got to know what you're doing, and you need some good training for that. Okay, now we've got to the end of the video, and I said that when we got to the end, I would show you the results of trading over a period of 7 days. I took a weekend off and another day off, and I started, I think it was last Wednesday, so that makes about 7 days. And you'll see from the history record that there were about 25 actual trades. So let's show you. I'll share the screen with you. Give me a moment. Okay, I think you can see here a copy of this particular account that I opened. And let me get my little pen out again. Okay, so here you will see the balance. Yeah, it says balance. That's the balance today. So let's go to the history, and let me show you when I started. Let me just move a few things around here. Okay, so you can see from here, get my pen out again. You'll see from over here that I opened it up on the 18th of September. And no, sorry, let's get that right. Let me put it back to the beginning. Okay, so there you can see that it was on the 16th of September, and it was an opening balance of $200. Okay. And then down here, you can see I started on the 17th. And over here, you can see a list of all the trades I did. And I lost a few cents here and made a big loss there. But if we come down all the way, let me get rid of my pen, and I can go down to the bottom today. And you'll see there was about 25 trades I made there, and there was the profit here. And so you can see the profit here on the left-hand side. So you can see $270 on an account opening of 200. So that's about 7 days of trading. You can see all of them here. Now, most traders would say that's impossible to take $200 and in 7 days increase it to 200 by $270. And under normal circumstances, that's true if you're using traditional methods that you're trained with out there on the internet. Some people say, well, it's only possible if you have a lucky break, if you do one very lucky trade. But you can see from here that there were actually 25 smallish trades. Now, that gives you some idea of what's possible. It doesn't often happen. You have to have a really good strategy to be able to do that. But if you do have a really good strategy, then you can see that you can actually more than double your money in a week if you know what you're doing. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this video. Okay, so if you found this informative and helpful, just push the like button. And if you'd like more, if you'd like the algorithms to direct the next few videos to you, then just push the subscribe button. And maybe you have some questions that you'd like to ask. You can put them in the comment buttons, and I'll try and answer those for you. And so I look forward to seeing you at the next video. Have a great day. Bye for now.